एके अनेकाश्च ज्ञानवृद्धाः वयोवृद्धाः शीलवृद्धाः विराजन्ते सर्वेभ्यः मम हृत्पूर्वक नमस्काराः। आदौ श्री गुरून् नत्वा कार्यक्रमस्य प्रारम्भं कुर्मः। We are blessed to have with us today Shri Dr. Karanam Aravindarao Garu as our distinguished chief guest. So my salutations to Mahodaya. Let us begin today's program with an invocation by Kumari Prithvi Shenoy.
गुरुरेव गतिर्गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सौन्दर्यलहरी कर्त्रे सर्वमङ्गलदायिने शङ्कराचार्यवर्याय यतिराजायते नमः। शङ्कारूपेण मच्चित्तं पङ्कीकृतमभूद्यया किङ्करीयस्य सामाया शङ्कराचार्यमाश्रये।
धन्यवादाः Prithvi. We are here today to celebrate the valedictory session of our webinar titled Soundaryalahari Parayanabhyasaha or Learn to Chant Soundaryalahari of Sri Adi Shankaracharya, which was offered through Sanskrit from Home of Vyoma Linguistic Labs Foundation. We are indeed very privileged to have with us a very distinguished Sanskritam scholar and expert in Vedanta, who has also served as a DGP in undivided Andhra Pradesh, Shri Dr. Karanam Aravindarao Garu. On behalf of Vyoma Labs, I extend a very warm welcome to our chief guest, Ananta Pranamaha Swagatam Mahodaya. I also take this opportunity to welcome our very own Dr. Soumya Krishnapur, an expert in Samskrita Vyakaranam and the chief linguistic scholar in Vyoma Labs, who is also the backbone of all our courses. Swagatam Bhagini, very elated to have you join our session today. A warm welcome to all the participants in today's session, including children who took part in our webinar, their parents, our panelists, attendees, our Vyoma team members, and all of you who have joined us on YouTube Live. I now invite Dr. Soumya Krishnapur to say a few words about Vyoma and Sanskrit from Home.
Namasadase, Namasadasaspattaye. Vyoma Labs had its origins in about 2009 was when we started our first foray into online classes through some Vyakarana classes. But officially, Vyoma was incorporated as a non-profit organization in 2012. So this is actually our Dashamanotsava. It's we have been celebrating in December. We are completing 10 years of the Seva Karya with a vision of building Samskrita Samskriti and Samskara consciousness in every individual, using technology as a medium of this day. It has helped us reach students across the world. So it's a great pleasure to have on this occasion the valedictory of this course on Soundaryalahari by Brinda Bhagini, who has been with us, always supporting us in multiple ways. She is definitely one of the most popular teachers on vyoma-samskrta-pathasala, as all of you can attest, starting with Bhagavad Gita, then the Raghuvira Gadyam, Suprabhatam, and then the Soundaryalahari, which started just after Navaratri last year. So one of the greatest things about Brinda Bhagini is her immense dedication, right? So we are blessed to be Guru Bandhus. So we had the fortune of learning under Mata Anantalakshmi Natarajan. And as per the instructions of Mata, I don't know how many of the students know this, she chanted the text, the entire Soundaryalahari 100 times before actually accepting to teach the course through the Pathashala. So that is the commitment and dedication that she puts into the courses. It's not just something that she comes, she is very comfortable with the text. She has learned it since her childhood, but it's not taken lightly, right? So with absolute dedication to pronunciation, the word split, the bhava. So she clarifies each and everything, even if it is a small thing, she makes sure she is presenting it the correct way. And I'm sure all of you have experienced the the effect of that dedication from the teacher. Her courses have transformed the lives of hundreds of students. There are so many who write to us daily saying that they start and end their day with her videos, her shlokas. Okay, so it's a way for us to feel the power of the saying amantram aksharam nasti. Each varna, each pada is pronounced with that much of bhakti and bhava. So as Bhagavat Pada says in the very first shloka, pranantum stotum va katham akrita punyaha prabhavati vayam sarve nishchayena punyavantaha. So to learn this stotra, to chant one verse of Soundaryalahari is a punya phala. To have learned this text completely and to learn it from such a dedicated teacher is a double bonus. And they say the proof of any, the success of any satsankalpa is in satsangati, the association of satpurushas who automatically come and bless such karyas and enable us to take the seva ahead. That is definitely very true today. We are indeed blessed to have with us Shri Karanam Aravindara Mahabhaga. He has been an inspiration at multiple levels. His classes, he has taught various texts of Vedanta and other things since a very long time through Advaita Academy, which was again one of the pioneering organizations which had these, made these Shastra accessible through the medium of online classes. And his commitment to the cause of Samskrita, Samskriti, Samskara, he contributes in so many different ways, in actual teaching, in administration of various bodies, and just being a source of inspiration to so many people. So I am very happy that we got this opportunity to submit our humble pranams to Ravindra Mahodaya. And I also convey our gratitude on behalf of Vyoma Labs to Brinda Bhagini for conducting this course through vyoma-samskrta-pathasala. Looking forward to many, many such courses from her in the future.
Dhanyavadaha, Soumya Bhagini, for your very kind and very generous words. So this course was possible, like all other courses, with the blessings of our gurus. Shri Bharati Tirtha Shri Charanaha and Shri Vidhushekara Bharati Shri Charanaha. And of course, like Saumya Bhagini mentioned, with the inspiration and encouragement from our Guru Mata, Vidushi Anantalakshmi Natarajan Mahodaya, from whom we all learned this. So as on today, we have around 1,629 registrations for the course, with a very diverse age group from very young children to senior citizens. And they join us from different parts of the world, including India, Singapore, USA, Dubai, Switzerland, Romania. We will be listening to a few of them today. So let us move on to listening to Soundaryalahari Samarpanam, a rendering of a few verses by our students. I invite Shivani Setunathan to commence the chanting, please.
शिवशक्त्या युक्तः यदि भवति शक्तः प्रभवितुं न चेदेवं देवः न खलु कुशलः स्पन्दितुमपि अतस्त्वामाराध्या हरिहरविरिञ्चादिभिरपि प्रणन्तुं स्तोतुं वा कथमकृतपुण्यः प्रभवति तनीयां सम्पांसुं तव चरणपङ्केरुहभवं विरिञ्चिः सञ्चिन्वन् विरचयति लोकानविकलं वहत्येनं शौरिः कथमपि सहस्रेण शिरसां हरः संक्षुभ्यैनं भजति भसितोद्धूलनविधिम्.
धन्यवादाः शिवानी. Anagha Srinivasan.
अविद्यानामन्तस्तिमिरमिहिरद्वीपनगरी जडानां चैतन्यस्तबकमकरन्दस्रुतिझरी दरिद्राणां चिन्तामणिगुणनिका जन्मजलधौ निमग्नानां मुररिपुवराहस्य भवति त्वदन्यः पाणिभ्याम् अभयवरदो दैवतगणः त्वमेका नैवासि प्रकटितवराभीत्यभिनया भयात्रातुं दातुं फलमपि च वाञ्छासमधिकं शरण्ये लोकानां तव हि चरणावेव निपुणौ.
Thank you, Anagha. Next, we have Miss Bridget and Mr. Mark Anthony Zafri joining us from Switzerland.
Haristvamarajya Pranata Jana Saubhagya Jananim Puranari Bhutra Purari Pumapi Shobhamanayate Smaropitva Natva Ratinayana Lekhyena Vapusha Munina Mapyantaf Prabhavati imohaya mahatam Dhanu paushpam maurvi madhukaramayi panchavishikha vasantas samantaha malaya marudayo dhanarathaha apyekas sarvam Himagiri sute kamapi kripa gate labha Jagadidamanango Vijayate.
Tamam. Dhanyavadaha. Thank you very much. No, Miss Bridget and Mr. Mark Anthony Zafri, very well chanted as always. Next, we have Anirudh.
Kanchidama Karikalabhakumbhastananata Parikshina Madhye Parinata Sharat Chandravadana Dhanurbanan Pasham Srinimapi Dadhana Karatalaihi Purastadhastanaha Puramathituraho Purushika Sudha Sindhor Madhye Suravitapi Vati Parivrite Manidvipe Nipopavanavati Chinta Manigrihe Shivakare Manche Paramashiva Paryanka Nilayam Bhajanti Tvan Dhanyaha Katichana Chidanandalahari.
Dhanyavadaha. Uttamam, Anirudh. Next, Miss Anne Marie joins us. So she has been attending the classes from Romania.
महिमूलाधारे कमपि मणिपुरे हुतवहं स्थितं स्वाधिष्ठाने हृदि मरुतमाकाशमुपरि मनोऽपि भ्रूमध्ये सकलमपि भित्त्वा कुलपथं सहस्रारे पद्मे सहरहसि पत्या विहरसे सुधाधारासारैः चरणयुगलान्तर्विगलितैः प्रपञ्चं सिञ्चन्ति पुनरपि रसाम्नायमहसः अवाप्य स्वां भूमिं भुजगनिभमध्युष्टवलयं स्वमात्मानं कृत्वा स्वपिशिकुलकुण्डे कुहरिणि.
Uttamam, Bhagini. Very well chanted. Dhanyavadaha. Next, Vihan Puranik.
चतुर्भिः श्रीकण्ठैः शिवयुवतिभिः पञ्चभिरपि प्रभिन्नाभिः शम्भोः नवभिरपि मूलप्रकृतिभिः चतुश्चत्वारिंशत् वसुदलकलाश्रत्रिवलयत्रिरेखाभिः सार्धम् तव शरणकोणाः परिणताः त्वदीयं सौन्दर्यं तुहिनगिरिकन्ये तुलयितुं कवीन्द्राः कल्पन्ते कथमपि विरिञ्चिभृतयः यदा लोकोत्सुक्यात् परिकलनायान्ति मनसा तपोभिर्दुष्प्रापाम् अपि गिरिशसायुज्य पदवीम्.
Dhanyavadaha. Vihan. Very well chanted. Vihan has also been one of our panelists along with Shivani, Prithvi and Charu. We now have Charu Vijayasarathi.
नरं वर्षीयां नयनविरसं नर्मसुजडं तवापाङ्गालोके पतितमनुधावन्ति शतशः गलद्वेणीबन्धाः कुचकलशविस्रस्तसिचयाः हठात् त्रुट्यत्काञ्च्यः विगलितदुकूला युवतयः क्षितौ षट्पञ्चाशत् द्विसमधिकपञ्चाशदुदके हुताशे द्वाषष्टिः चतुरधिकपञ्चाशदनिले दिवि द्विषट्त्रिंशत् मनसि च चतुष्षष्टिरिति ये मयूखास्तेषामप्युपरि तव पादाम्बुजयुगम्.
धन्यवादाः. उत्तमं चारु. Next, Prithvi, Kumari Prithvi will chant verse 15 followed by Kumari Janhavi Satish.
शरज्योत्स्ना शुद्धां शशियुतजटाजूटमकुटां वरत्रासत्राणस्फटिकघटिका पुस्तककरां सकृन्नत्वा नत्वा कथमिव सतां सन्निदधते मधुक्षीरद्राक्षा मधुरीणाः फणितयः.
धन्यवादाः पृथ्वी. जाह्नवी सतीश.
भवानि त्वन्दासे मयि वितरदृष्टिं सकरुणाम् इति स्तोतुं वाञ्छन् कथयति भवानि त्वमिति यः तदैव त्वं तस्मै दिशसि निजसायुज्य पदवीम् मुकुन्द ब्रह्मेन्द्र स्फुटमकुटनीराजितपदा जपो जल्पशिल्पं सकलमपि मुद्रा विरचना गतिः प्रादक्षिण्यक्रमणमशनाद्याहुतिविधिः प्रणामः संवेशः सुखमखिलमात्मार्पणदृशा सपर्यापर्यायः तव भवतु यन्मे विलसितम्.
Dhanyavadaha. Well chanted, Janhavi. We will conclude the presentation of verses with the last verse, Pradeepa Jwalabhihi by Kumari Prithvi Shanoy.
प्रदीपज्वालाभिः दिवसकरनीराजनविधिः सुधासूतेश्चन्द्रोपलजललवैरर्घ्यरचना स्वकीयैरम्भोभिः सलिलनिधिसौहित्यकरणम् त्वदीयाभिर्वाग्भिः तव जननि वाचां स्तुतिरियम्.
Dhanyavadaha. Thank you to all the participants for rendering the verses very well. We now come to the most awaited part of today's session. Like I already said, we are very privileged, honored, and blessed to have this opportunity of listening to our distinguished erudite chief guest, Dr. Shri Karanam Aravindarao Garu, a retired IPS officer who is a Sanskritam scholar, an expert in Vedanta, a great orator, an accomplished writer, and a wonderful teacher. He is known to many of us for his many positions he has held with great honor. Dr. Karanam Aravindarao Garu has served as the DGP in undivided Andhra Pradesh. Right since his early childhood days, he was an outstanding student and had an impeccable academic record. So along with his siblings, he used to walk for 5 kilometers each way to reach school in the neighboring town of Gorentla in Andhra Pradesh. He stood first in Anantapur Junior College. He pursued a master's in English literature from then SV University. Such is his brilliance that he had 3 very coveted positions to choose from. He was selected as an LIC officer and Group 1 officer in Andhra Pradesh Public Service Commission and an IPS officer all at once. And he chose to serve the country in his capacity as an IPS officer. He is known for his contribution as an IPS officer, though it may not be possible to get into all the details here due to paucity of time. He has held several important positions in his career spanning around 3.5 decades. He is the recipient of the Indian Police Medal in 1994 and the President's Police Medal in 2003. Coming to his passion for Sanskritam and Sanatana Dharma, he studied Sanskrit under the able guidance of Mahamahopadhyaya Padma Shri Pullala Ramachandrulu, renowned professor in Sanskrit, and he studied Vedanta under Swami Tattvavidhananda Saraswati. He has completed his master's and PhD in Sanskrit. Extremely passionate about spreading Sanskritam, Samskriti, and Sanatana Dharma, he has authored several books: How to Teach Hinduism to Your Child, Bhagavad Gita Manakemi Cheptundi in Telugu, A Guide to Bhagavad Gita, Bhajagovindam, Bharatiyam, and books on Upanishads in English. He has been awarded honorary title Vachaspati by Rashtriya Samskrita Vidyapeeth Tirupati and Samskrita Sevavrati by Rashtriya Samskrita Samsthan, New Delhi. He is well known for his many thought-provoking, insightful lectures on various topics like the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, Hinduism, Mahabharatam, etc. Proficient in many languages, including Telugu, English, and Sanskrit, his lectures and publications are a great source of learning for any Sanatana Dharma enthusiast. He has also been instrumental in enlightening and educating the younger generation and children about Sanatana Dharma. So we really don't have much time, and one can't do justice to all the service he has rendered both in his professional capacity and to Sanskritam and Sanatana Dharma. So all I can say is that having such a great scholar amidst us today reminds me of a verse of Adi Shankara Bhagavat Padacharya from Viveka Chudamani. Durlabham trayame vaitat daivanugraha hetukam manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshrayah. So there are 3 things which are very rare and difficult to gain. So one is manushyatvam, this human birth, and mumukshutvam, the longing for liberation, and mahapurusha samshrayah, the company of mahapurushas. So we are indeed blessed, dhanya vayam, to listen to a mahapurusha today. Over to you, Mahodaya.
Namaskar. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. My respects to everyone who is present here. Usually in all the introductions, there is a little bit of Atishayokti. Atishayokti is that hyperbole or hyperbole. So naturally, had I known that Brindaji would be speaking so many words about me, I would have advised her, requested her to cut down. But anyway, because in introductions, what happens is our ego gets boosted. And any student of Vedanta is supposed to eradicate or eliminate or attenuate the ego. So that the ego is propped up in all these introductions. So I am trying to, again, put off my ego. So anyway, thank you, Brindaji. And also thank you, Srimati Soumya Krishnapurji. Soumya Krishnapur is a very great scholar in Sanskrit, particularly in grammar. And in fact, I happened to share the stage in one place along with her, and she spoke in chaste Sanskrit while I was speaking in my own faulty Sanskrit. So anyway, she's doing a great job in spreading the knowledge of Sanskrit all around the world. That's a very nice thing. So now today, particularly, I feel really happy that I have been invited for this function to speak on Soundaryalahari. Soundaryalahari, a wave of beauty. Lahari is a wave, and you have been riding that wave of beauty all these days. You have been doing that Parayanam of at least a few shlokas, if not the entire 100 shlokas, at least a few shlokas you have been doing Parayanam. And talking about Soundaryalahari, in fact, I felt like giving a sort of introduction to Soundaryalahari because we have got so many texts. Today you read Soundaryalahari, tomorrow you're going to read Vishnu Sahasranama, or you are going to read Lalita Sahasranama, or you are going to read some other text. And then you will be wondering whether what is told in Lalita Sahasranama is right, or in Vishnu Sahasranama is right, or in some other text is right, or in some other text is right. This sort of problem is not there with other people, but with us, as means with the Hindus, the problem is we have so many texts. In other religions, they have only one text. They are called the people of the book. So they have got only one text and probably some commentaries on those texts, on that particular text, or some elaboration on that text. But we have got so many traditions and so many texts. So that is why Swami Dayananda Saraswati called us the people of the library. They are the people of the book. We are the people of the library. So we have to know where exactly to place a book. When we take a book, where exactly to place it, what exactly is this place. So for that, Vedanta comes to our rescue, because how to place a book in its proper place, if you want to do that, Vedanta comes to our rescue. So what is it? Because we have got so many traditions. So many traditions. For example, we have got the Shaiva tradition, we have got the Shakta tradition. Shaiva tradition means the people who hold that Shiva is the supreme, and all other deities are rather number 2, number 3, number 4, etc. Or sometimes they also say they are all various forms of Shiva. They are all various manifestations of Shiva. And Vaishnava, they also say the same. Vaishnava, they say, yes, Vishnu is the supreme. And what you call Shiva, then Brahma or Indra and all these people, they are all various forms of Vishnu. If you take Shakti, in the very first shloka you have come to know, Harihara Virinchadibhirapi. Harihara Virinchadibhirapi. All these people, they are actually praising you, they are saluting you. So that means Shakti, what we call Shakti, or sometimes we call Lalita. So that Lalita or Shakti is the supreme. And then all other people either are her children or her associates or her own various forms, her own many various manifestations. So that is what we see here. So when we come to, for example, some Puranas which are called Vishnu-oriented Puranas, you have a particular hierarchy of gods. Hierarchy means it doesn't mean that all those people, they do exist. They are all various forms in the same reality. Because Vedanta, what is told in the Vedanta is actually fitted into that Vaishnava tradition or Shaiva tradition or Shakta tradition or Ganapatya tradition. How? Because what does Vedanta say? If you say that if Vishnu, people say that Vishnu is supreme, and Shaiva people, they say that Shiva is supreme, and some other sect says that he or she is supreme, then what exactly is the reality? Do we have so many? We can't have so many supreme realities. That reality is only one. So what is the reality? So if you have to know that, we have to come to Vedanta. Vedanta means particularly the Upanishads. And if we are not having time or capability, or at least opportunity to go to the Upanishads, we can at least know about the Gita, the commentaries on the Gita. Thoroughly, we have to go through the commentaries very thoroughly on the Gita. And also some Upanishads also simultaneously, if we see, we come to know that reality or supreme reality or highest reality, what we call God, is not some person who is sitting in heaven. Is not some person who there is no place, some three-dimensional space, somewhere hanging in the skies. And God is not a person who is sitting there somewhere in the skies. What we call God is not a person at all. Not a person at all. It is an impersonal entity which is defined as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. In Taittiriya Upanishad it says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Similar words are they do explain the nature of Brahman or supreme reality in various texts. In various other texts or various other Upanishads also, we have got Asthulam, Ananu, Asanga, so many terms are there. And the crux of it is that what we call reality is not a person, but it is infinitely existing consciousness. If we want a translation of that Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Shankaracharya has written very elaborately on that. Very elaborately, he writes what is Satyam, what is Satyam doesn't mean truth in the sense that I am now speaking, you are all listening. It is a truth, not in this sense. Sat means that which exists, that which always exists. Past, present, and future, always. There's something which is eternal. So Satyam, that is infinitely existing consciousness. Then what are all these things? What we talk about Shiva, Shakti, and then Vishnu, and various other forms, Ganapati, Saura Sampradaya, that is relating to Surya, that is sun god, that is another Sampradaya also. So similarly, there are so many Sampradayas or traditions. What are all these? These are all various forms which are visualized in the same reality. So that is where we are. These are all various things which are, which were already there in the tradition and which have been assimilated or which have been harmoniously brought in by the, not by later people, right from the Upanishadic times. So that is why when we do puja every day in the morning, when we say that some of the shlokas, some suktam from Mahanarayana Upanishad, we say Sa Brahma, Sa Shiva, Sa Hari, Sa Indra, Sot Sharah Paramaswarat. What you call the supreme reality which is manifesting in you, that is the same as Brahma, that is Sa Brahma, Sa Shiva, that is Shiva, that is Vishnu, that is Indra, that is Prajapati, that is Akshara Brahma. So in this way, and again in Mantra Pushpam again they say, Tvam Rudrasvam Brahma, Tvam Vishnu, Tvam Prajapati, you are that, all the forms there, one. Purusha Sukta also says, Sarvani Rupani Vichitya Dhira. All the forms, there is only one reality which is taking up so many forms. And of course, you come to this Gita also, you got so many shlokas, so many places we say that there is only one reality and all these vibhutis, manifestations, they are all there. And then again, you visualize that supreme reality. What is that supreme reality? When we say it is not a person, then it cannot be a man or a woman. There's you can visualize that reality in the form of a man, in the form of a woman, in any form. There is no other form. Nasri, Napuman, Nashandaha says Upanishad. It is neither a woman, and neither a man, nor a woman, nor a eunuch, nor any particular person. So that it is not a person at all. So you can visualize any form. So that is what we have to first realize. That is actually our uniqueness. Our uniqueness is we don't have any objection to visualize that supreme reality in the form of a feminine form, because particularly this is something which is very, very offensive to some people. For example, very recently, only a few days ago, we saw that that writer Salman Rushdie was stabbed because in his book he had written some of the verses which were supposed to have been there originally in the text, where they accepted some of the female goddesses. So that was the great offense in that culture. So we don't have any such problem. You don't have any such problem accepting this woman, accepting a child as a goddess, any form. And finally, what the ultimate reality, we don't deviate. Ultimate reality is that one. And from that reality, you visualize all these forms. So that is what is the basis. That is the first framework in which we have to understand any text. Any text. You take Vishnu Sahasranama, you put in that particular category. And what he says about Vishnu is same applicable to Shakti. What he said about Vishnu there is applicable to Shiva here. The stories may be slightly different. Symbolism may be slightly different. Vishnu symbolism may be slightly different. Shiva symbolism may be slightly different. Shakti symbolism may be slightly different. But then the reality is one. Stories are different. So that is all. And now with this slight small background, we now come to the text Soundaryalahari. A few minutes I'll speak, because as Brindaji said, there are Jnana Vruddhaha, Vayo Vruddhaha, Shila Vruddhaha, as Ramayana, Valmiki says in Valmiki Ramayana. There are so many learned people here, and I'm just presenting my views. I have not done much Parayanam of this text. Parayanam means Param Ayanam. This is the supreme path. Param Ayanam means Param is highest. Ayanam is path. This is the highest path. So in that, you have to take a book, and then you have to take a text and then keep reading it and then know about it. So I have not done Parayanam because it is a complicated text. It's not a simple text. At a simple level, you can find some Vedanta. But then this text is a combination of Mantra Shastra, Tantra Shastra, and for every mantra, for every shloka, there is a yantra. For every shloka, there is what is called upayam, that phalam. Phalam is you do this, you take this shloka, you do japam for, say, about 1,000 times or so, whatever is the number which is prescribed here. And for a particular result, if you want a particular result, you want some wealth, you do this japam of this shloka. You want some political power, you do japam of some other shloka. You want something else, so you do japa. So for various purposes, because a human being is a person who needs some God. You see, if you tell that reality is, it is only some supreme reality, is nothing but infinitely existing consciousness, etc., the common man is not bothered. Common man wants a form, either some God with some access, with whom to whom we can have some access. We have some access to the God, and we pour out our grievances before him, and then we make some requests, and then we also get some boons. We also get the result, because that is again there. It is not as though it is not there, because the power of that consciousness, because we are also the same, we also have the same consciousness, or in the sense, the same consciousness is reflected in all the antahkaranas of all the beings. All then, that is why we say Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat. When we say all the antahkaranas, that is all the antahkarana is that what we loosely call the mind, which reflects the supreme consciousness. All these antahkaranas and all the limbs, all the sense organs and all the motor organs of every living being, not only the human being, but all the living beings, they are the heads and the limbs of that supreme, that one cosmic form. So that means the human being is on par with a small ant, a small mosquito. He is also a jiva. The ant also is a jiva. Pipilika also is a jiva. So the jiva, the antahkarana is the same. The reality which is present in that is same. Ontologically, as they say, ontologically, a man is equated to an ant or an elephant or a dinosaur or a small microbe also. So it is like that. So that is how we see the reality which is manifest in all the beings. So the human being wants some form. He wants, the very most primary level is we worship the reality in what is called a Sakara and Saguna. Sakara means a particular form. It may be Krishna, it may be Vishnu, it may be Shiva. A particular form is there. And also Saguna. Guna means some attributes. So he is a person who blesses people, and then who, restores order if there is some disorder in society. That is what we say avatara. And if there is some disorder, he restores order. And he is the person who comes down and then redresses our grievances. So that is what we see about Sakara and Saguna form. And a slightly higher level, if you see what is called a Nirakara. In our tradition also, for example, yoga, Patanjali Yoga, Sankhya and Yoga, and also Tarka. These three schools, they accepted one Nirakara. Nirakara means a formless God, but at the same time, he is able to, listen to your requests and then answer your requests. That is what Gita also says, yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhayarchitum ichchati. Whoever in whatever form comes to me, I respond to them in the same form. And he also says, you worship any other form, I don't feel angry. I have no anger for those. If you are worshipping any other god also, I am not angry. Yepi anyadevata bhaktaha, that is in the 9th chapter of the Gita, we say, Yepi anyadevata bhaktaha yajante shraddhayanvitaha, he says. So like that, we accept all the forms. We don't denounce any form. We don't say, yes, you are on the wrong path, etc., etc. You know, a person, he is worshipping some god, and then he will attain the purity of mind and purity of his conduct by worshipping that. If he is achieving those two things, that purity of mind and purity of conduct, then what else do you want? So let him worship a tree, let him worship a hill, let him worship some other form. It is okay. Then the final level is, after the Sakara and Saguna and Nirakara and Saguna, the final level is what is called Nirakara and Nirguna. Nirakara means that which has no form. And also, it is something beyond all these things. It is not even bothered about this creation, not even bothered about who you are. And then, Nadatte kasya chit papam, nachaiva sukhatam vibhu. Gita says some shocking statements. Nadatte. We usually say that, oh, God is there to take away our, or rather reduce our sins or take away our sins. God clearly says, Krishna clearly says, Nadatte kasya chit papam. He doesn't take away anybody's sins, nor is he there to give you punyam. Your punyam or papam depends on your own actions. So that is what the Gita says. So Gita, if you see, it makes really shocking statements. But then with all these things in the background, we do need some form. And that is where we come to books like Lalita Sahasranama or Soundaryalahari, and in Soundaryalahari or Vishnu Sahasranama, whatever it is, or various other texts also. So here you see the very symbolism of Lalita. Now we come to this Soundaryalahari, this goddess Shakti. Then the very first shloka says Shiva and Shakti are again inseparable. Shiva is again, what is Shiva? When you conflate, or rather when you combine these two, Vedanta on one side and this Shiva tradition on one, the Shakti tradition on one side, Shaktiya tradition, when we say Shaktiya tradition, Shakti is supreme. So if you mix these two things, what is the symbolism here? Shiva is that consciousness, and consciousness has a manifesting power, what is called Shakti. Shiva and Shakti are inseparable. There is no difference between Shakti and Shaktiman. That is Shakti, Shaktimato, Rabhedaha, they say. That is Shakti, that power, that Shiva, that consciousness is the what we say in Vedanta, we call it substratum or adhishthanam. That substratum is there, and that substratum is manifesting as the whole universe. And that manifesting power is what is called Shakti. And Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadina Bhavati, Na Bhavati, Shakta Prabhavitum, Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadina Bhavati, Shakta Prabhavitum, Nache Devam Devona Kalu Kusala Spanditum api. So if the Shakti and if Shakti were not to be there, Shiva has no, you can't even know Shiva. You are able to know Shiva only because you are there in the form of an Antahkarana, which is another form of that Shakti. That manifesting of manifesting power is manifesting actually in the form of the whole universe, including you and me. And because we have what is called the mind, we are able to know that there is something beyond it. If this Shakti were not to be there, you would not even have a chance to know that there is something called that absolute consciousness. So, and also this is how we see. And Shiva and Shakti, the symbolism, if we see, broadly we see in two forms. One is that Lalita. Lalita, if we see the picture of Lalita, Shiva is there on a bed or something like a bed. He is reclining, and on him this Lalita is seated. For a long time before reading Vedanta, I never knew why this lady is sitting on him when this man is sleeping. So the symbolism is Shiva symbolizes that consciousness, pure consciousness, and the manifesting power is there in the form of that Shakti. And another way in which Shiva and Shakti are combined is that Ardhana, very famous Ardhanarishwara, the half Shiva and half Shakti, that Ardhanarishwara. So here we find these two ways in which this Shiva and Shakti are shown. So this is what we see in the very first couple of shlokas. And probably Shankaracharya, when we see the shlokas, some of the shlokas, the descriptions and all that, some people have gone to the extent of saying that no, there is a lot of Shrungara in this. Shrungara means some shlokas which talk about a person trying to win over women. Vashikarana, what we say, winning over women. That was also one madness for some people. So anyway, the one shloka was read out just now, Naram Vashiyamsam, Nayana Virasam, Narmasu Jadam. There is some such a shloka. So there again, What does it mean? All these Girvana, Ganika, they just run after him. So seeing all these descriptions, many people have gone to the extent of saying that it is not by Shankaracharya, but some of the people have also said, no, it is not like that. Shankaracharya, he wrote, in fact, in his short life, by about 8 years of age, he had learned the whole of the Vedic literature. And again, by that time, he had also learned what is called Kavya Shastra, that is Alankara Shastra, and all this, what we call poetics in English. So all this literary what we say, that knowledge of literature he already had. In fact, one king comes to him and then recites various some of his works, and then Shankaracharya he tells what are the whether it was wrong or right, and then Shankaracharya remembers it also. One king, I don't remember the name of the king, so that king comes and recites when Shankaracharya was still a small boy. So Shankaracharya, some people say that he could have written maybe in his teens, maybe in his 15, 16 at the time. And probably his intention was when he was seeing various un-Vedic or rather non-Vedic or rather crude forms of worship, he wanted to bring about some sort of refinement in the form of worship. Because in this book also, Soundaryalahari also, there is what is called Vamachara and Dakshinachara. Vyoma-samskrta means trying to appease or propitiate the god or goddess by some sacrifice. By sacrificing means by killing some animals or with one's own blood, and sometimes giving meat and then giving various other things, or maybe sometimes worshipping on dead bodies. So all these crude forms, very crude forms, very unrefined forms were there. And Shankaracharya, we know that he censored all those crude forms, and then he brought about some refined forms of worship in various traditions. So that is the reason why he was called Shanmata Sthapanacharya, when he went around and then saw various traditions and then he tried to refine them. It seems when you go to Kanchi also, in that temple, probably there was some worship, some sacrifice which was going on there. So the temple priest of that Kanchi, he will tell you a story. If you go to the temple priest and ask him what is the story of this Kanchi and how Shankaracharya came here and all that. So Shankaracharya brought about some refinement, and he studied so many traditions which were there at that time. And then he saw what were the major traditions. In India at that time, there were 6 major traditions. Those 6 major traditions, he said, yes, let these things be there. And all other traditions, like Kapalika, Chapanaka, and so many other forms which were very, very crude, and they were also not part of it's not according to the Vedic tradition also. So such traditions he censored, and then he rejected them and harmonized all these traditions. In fact, he was the person who harmonized. Had it not been that harmonization, of course, Shankaracharya did what is already there in the Upanishads. As I said, Upanishads also say, Sa Brahma, Sa Shiva, Sa Hari, Sa Indra, etc. And Upanishads very, very clearly say that a person is supposed to see the divinity in everybody. You see Rudradhyaya. What is Rudradhyaya? Rudradhyaya, you worship various, what are all the people whom you see in the society, all people. You salute the great people, you salute also the not so great people, you also salute the thieves, you also salute a potter, kulalebhya, karmarebhya. You worship a potter, you worship another man, you worship somebody who is making bows, who is making some chariots. And all these people whom you see around you, they are all forms of the Rudra. They are all divine forms. So seeing divinity in everybody is something which is the basic cornerstone of our Vedanta philosophy. That is what we have to remember. So here also we find that Shankaracharya, he tried to refine and then bring in that Shakta tradition into what is called Samayachara. Samayachara, or what is called the right path in which all those older traditions were removed. Older traditions means all those crude traditions were censored. So that is how we see that Shankaracharya included some of them. You see, if you totally reject, people will not like it. So he has also stated some shlokas. Okay, you visualize this goddess in this form, you will get this result. You visualize goddess in this form and then do upasana. There is a word called upasana also in this. Upasana means what most of us, we know the word upasana. This upasana means an intense meditation on a particular idea of God. Shiva means there is a symbolism around Shiva. So you intensely meditate and try to raise yourself to that state. Upasana, the person who does upasana reaches the stage of that deity on whom he is meditating. So like that, like the Shiva, in this also, there are shlokas which are meant for meditation. Upasana means Taila, Shankaracharya in one place he says, Taila dharavat tulya pratyaya santatihi. Like a stream of, if you take some oil and then pour from a beak, the mouth of that beak, it forms a thin, long thread. It doesn't form in small droplets. It is a long thread. So like that long thread, our ideas, the thought flow, or rather the thought stream has to be uniform and then undisturbed by dissimilar thoughts. So that is how Shankaracharya describes. So this upasana, many of these shlokas here are meant for upasana. And in this upasana, you visualize the whole universe as the goddess herself in the form of the whole universe. And that is how in one sloka he compares this moon and the sun as the two breasts of the goddess. In another sloka, he refers to them as Surya and Chandra, that is sun and the moon, as the two eyes. And you find such a beautiful poetry. There is wonderful poetry in this text. And the whole universe again is nothing but this goddess. And if you just take a couple of slokas also, you see, Taniyam sam pamsum tava charana pankeru bhavam virinchis sanchanvan virachayati lokan avikalam. All the what we call the cosmic functions called the creation, sustenance, and what we call resolution or destruction. Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. From your feet, they have taken a small speck of dust or some small portion of dust from your feet, and then they have Brahma has created and this universe, and then Vishnu with great difficulty, Sahasra, what is this Sahasrena Sharasam, that Shauri Kathamapi Vahati. Somehow, Shauri, that Vishnu is able to manage. And then the same Hara, that is Rudra, is doing this Samhara, or rather, he is resolving the whole universe. So in our system, we don't have that linear, say, idea of time. You see, when was Prakriti, when was this universe created, means it is something we can't say. That is, it is Anadi, we say. Anadi means it has been there infinitely. It has been there infinitely. There is not a particular time in which God came and then created the universe. That is why we don't have a linear concept of time. We have what is called a cyclical concept of time. There is a Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. There is a Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. It goes on and on and on, and any number of Srishtis have taken place. So that is how we say. So this three, what do we find here in this shloka? The three deities whom we call Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra, they are nothing but your own forms. And again, we find what is called, say this, Manmada. I heard this shloka just now. Ratinayana lekhyena vapusha. Ratinayana lekhyena vapusha. I think it is in shloka number, shloka number 5. Yeah. Haristvam aradhya pranata jana saubhagya jananim puran ari bhutvaya. Hari, Vishnu had worshipped you earlier, and then he took the form, a female form, and churned the mind of Shiva. When Vishnu took the form of a lady, he literally, Shiva was so shaken. So that's a wonderful story there. And smaropitvam natva ratinayana lehyena vapusha muninam apyanta prabhavati mohaya mahata. It's a wonderful, you see this coinage of words. Ratinayana lehyena vapusha. We know that Manmata is the god of love, and his wife, her name is Rati. And she is so fond of his her husband, that is this Manmata is so handsome that she is licking his body. She is licking his body. How is she licking his body? With her eyes. With her eyes, she is licking the body. Rati Nayana Lehyena. With her eyes, she is licking the body of Manmata. Such a beautiful expression. You see such expressions in several places. You see in several places throughout the text. And Muninamapi Antah Prabhavati Mohaya Mahata. You saw that gentleman, that Manmata. The very name Manmata is very interesting. Manaha Mathnati iti Manmatha. That is one who churns the minds of people. When Manmatha enters, the mind is so totally churned. So, in fact, we have to. I wanted to give a small request to the Vyoma labs. Kindly conduct some course on Sahitya Shastra also. Sahitya Shastra, that is something like Kavya Prakasha, maybe one Lakshana Grantha and also one Lakshya Grantha. So Kavya Prakasha, some little bit of Kavya Prakasha, and some little one good text like Meghadutam or something like that. So that nowadays we find that the youngsters are so ignorant about literature. What exactly is a metaphor, what exactly is a simile, and then how these similes and metaphors and what we call imagery, all this imagery are used in literature. One has to read literature if one has to have a slightly rounded personality. Nowadays, we find the people just going for, particularly our Indian kids, we just go to IITs and then go to engineering college. Everybody is an engineer, a boy, girl, everybody is an engineer. And then nobody knows a poem. Nobody knows a poem from any kavyam. Nobody knows either from his own native language or Sanskrit, leave alone Sanskrit, not even native language. So maybe it will be a good idea. I request Vyoma people to take up, teaching some basics of Srungara also, because Srungara, we find in this text, Srungara is so very well portrayed. Because in fact, Devi, this Lalita Shakti, she is supposed to be she is supposed to be having all the rasas in her. There is one sloka, I have noted that sloka. She is she is a personification of all these rasas in so many different forms. All those rasas are seen. And there are certain poetic commonplaces, as we say. The poets, they have got some particular descriptions. So that those descriptions we are supposed to know. So if we want to enjoy the good poetry. So anyway, this coming back to this subject, Vishwan, the whole universe is said to be her body. And in this text, as I was saying, it is very, very difficult to speak on this text. You see, if I know literature, I enjoy some 10% or 20% of the text. If I know Yoga Shastra, I enjoy some 20% of the text. If I know something more, Tantra Shastra also, I know something more and I can understand slightly more. If I know Vedanta also, I will understand something more. But if I know only Vedanta and if I don't know Tantra Shastra or this some practice of yoga, because all these chakras they have been described here, that is Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, and then Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agnya Vishuddhi, and then Agnya Chakra and Sahasrara, all these chakras rising from one level to the other. The lower chakras, they symbolize usually the sensual aspect of a person, food, drink, and enjoyment, merriment, sensual enjoyment. Slightly when you come up, then activity, physical activity, and then achievement and things like that. And again, slightly when you go up, then you come to thinking, a little bit of thinking, and then something associated with the knowledge. And then what is called Atma Vichara, the inquiry into the nature of self. So that is where all these texts come in. And this text talks at all levels, from a common from the level of a common devotee who wants some sort of he wants to pass some examination or he wants to get some good result in somewhere, from that level to the highest level of moksha. That is, in fact, the shlokas you find, for example, if you take one shloka like yeah, I didn't note all those shlokas. Anyway, you see, for example, the very first shloka itself, not very first. In the very first few shlokas only, we find how this Shakti, she is somebody who will give all the four purusharthas. We know that there are four purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. And she is the person who gives all the four purusharthas. That is the dharma, the righteous path, artha, what you mean, money, not necessarily money, but all the resources for the well-being of a human being. Then again, kama, all the desires, fulfillment of desires, and at the level of, again, at the level of moksha. Moksha means release from all these things. In fact, the goal in human life, according to Hinduism, is you achieve, you enjoy artha and kama in the framework of dharma. That is why artha and kama are sandwiched between dharma and moksha. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Artha and kama, these two are sandwiched between dharma and moksha. You enjoy you earn artha, enjoy kama in the framework of dharma. Then you become eligible to go to that next level called moksha, and automatically we don't get. Then again, we have to do some atma vichara. We have to do some atma vichara. That is, you have to go to a guru and then study what exactly is atma vichara, and then rise above all these, rising above all these limitations, rising above all limitations of. A person is born free, but he is bound with so many things. The moment a person is born, there is a stamp. You belong to this religion, this sect, etc., etc. You are this, you are that. And in addition, we also acquire some degrees and then some labels. You are this, you belong to this particular department. You are a doctor, you are an engineer, etc., etc. You rise above all these limitations, and then you realize that you are not different from that supreme reality and you are one. So that is what this sloka says. And so the structure of the text also, if we see the first 40 shlokas, they are more serious in nature. They are more serious in nature means they give so many there are so many complicated verses there. That means unless you have some knowledge of yoga, you know, knowledge of Tantra Shastra and all that, you will not be able to decode all those shlokas. For example, all these, the konas, all the so many, chatuschatvarim chat, that is 44 angles in that Sri Chakra. All those things you should have some knowledge. You have to probably learn from a teacher only. And at the end, what the result of Parayanam, the result of this Parayanam, I was just telling you, Parayanam is pursuing a particular thing, that this is the highest path I have to pursue. That is Parayanam. At the end of this whole Parayanam, the result is going beyond the kamya, going beyond the kamatita sthiti. That is what the scholars say. Scholars say that a Parayanam of this sloka, the entire Soundaryalahari, it leads a person to that kamatita sthiti. So you are no longer in the level of seeking something. You are no longer in the level of seeking this or that, and then all that level you go rise above that, and then you are fit to fit for that atma vichara, and again attain that liberation, as they say. So that is what is the overall say picture. I did not read many shlokas into this, because if I want to read out the poems and then the beauty of the poems, there is a lot to say. For example, if I take the shloka number 59, just quoted some. For example, there is what is called a varnana, a description of the goddess from top to toe, from her hair down to every bit. Her brows are described, then her ears, her eyes, her nose, and then her lips, and then the chin, and then neck, and then practically every part of the body, down to the nail, the fingernails, and also toe, the feet, nails, and all that, right up to that. Every bit is described. And the alankara, whatever are the ornaments, for example, the earrings, her cheeks are compared, are so bright. And then the earrings, they are reflected on her cheeks. And then the earrings, and 2 earrings, and then 2 reflections. So they are looking like the chariot of Lord Manmatha, the god Manmatha, who is going to again show his strength on Lord Shiva, because this lady is near Shiva. So the 2 earrings, and then these 2 reflections, they are like the 4 wheels of the chariot of Manmatha, and then this Manmatha sitting on them is again going and trying to attack Shiva. So just one example. And for example, in some shlokas, again the hierarchy comes. For example, in one shloka he says, Indra, Kumaraswamy, and also Vishnu. they defeat gods in some battle, and then they come to this mother. And then this mother is so kind to them. And then at that time, she is taking some tambulam, tambula charvana. Tambulam is what we call pan in Hindi. I don't know if there is no English equivalent, because for English, there is no English. For them, there is no tambulam. So this tambulam she is taking. And then she takes out some tambulam, and then tambula kabala, small pieces of tambula to them. And then they eat that tambulam. That means they derive this, they're like children, like the children that beetle leaf, and not only leaf, beetle leaf, along with some other material, we combine, and then we make it into a very nice combination. So that whatever is eaten by her and taken out from her mouth and given to them, they are eating. Probably Vaishnavite would become very angry if he reads this. But then Shiva, this Shakti tradition, if you see, the shlokas will be like that. If you go to Shiva, Vishnu tradition again, they describe in the same manner. If you see Venkateshwara Stotram, when Lord, other people like in Venkateshwara Stotram, there is a wonderful shloka where there are so many gods. There is such gods have all thronged in the court of Venkateshwara to have a darshan of Venkateshwara in the morning. And there are some divine policemen who are in charge of crowd control. And this Vishnu and not Vishnu, this Shiva and Brahma, Indra, and all those people are in the front row trying to barge in. And then this policemen, they are hitting on their heads. They are hitting on their heads with some soft sticks. So I forget that shloka. So like that, you find that hierarchy there in a different form. You find a hierarchy here in a different form. So we should not be confused, because the basic problem with our text is, when we read this text, we see something. When we read some other text, we see something else. How to fit them? So if we want to fit them, if we want to know where exactly how to understand, you have to take it as just a story and not an absolute reality. You can't take it as an absolute reality. You have to you have to see it in the Vedanta framework. So that is how we have to see. Otherwise, we'll be terribly confused. And if somebody says, "Arey, you have got so many gods and all that," we are really we feel rather diffident. Rather, we feel helpless to explain it, because we have never read Gita, we have never read Upanishads. So in fact, my strong advice always to people is, we have to know what are the fundamentals of Gita, the fundamentals of the Vedantic thought. So if we don't know that, then we will be in a problem. Not only that, in fact, we should also know some Sanskrit. If we don't know Sanskrit, if not talking very fluently and all that, at least we should know Sanskrit, so that we will know what we are reading and who is telling the right thing and who is not telling the right thing. Because the big problem with even highly educated people is, also, they would never have read even the Gita. I find so many people, and such people maybe suddenly after retirement or some such time, it dawns on them, I have to read Gita. Then he feels so totally helpless. And I hear many people saying, I made a great mistake in my life. I have not learned Sanskrit in my early days. So don't give scope to that. There might be many youngsters also here in this group. My sincere advice to all these youngsters is, we have to know Sanskrit. Otherwise, it will be a lifelong handicap. You have to continuously depend on some English translation. You have to continuously depend on somebody who may be knowing and telling, who may not be knowing and telling. Nowadays, there are so many people who don't even read the commentaries, and then still keep giving talks on Gita and management and this and that. I don't grudge, but then you don't find the crux of Vedanta philosophy from that. So if we want to know the crux, if we want to know the real essence of Vedanta, naturally, we have to have some knowledge of Sanskrit. So I think with these few words, without going much into the text, there are so many poems which you want to say, but then there is no time, and then it is not a letter. It is not a session for appreciation of literature. If you want to have an appreciation of literature, this is a text. Some slokas can be taken, and then you see what is the alankara, that is the figure of speech there, and how beautifully the words are expressed there. So that will be another course, probably, knowing about the beauty of the poetry here. So once again, my pranams to Sri Shankaracharya, who is the originator of this great work. Though many people say that it is not the work of Shankaracharya, I tend to believe that it could be work of Shankaracharya because he was trying to refine a particular tradition. That is what he did. So probably he, in order to reject so many other things, he had to accept also certain things. So what he has not done in some other stotras, for example, if you take any stotra of Shankaracharya, they are mostly philosophical in nature. But here, not only philosophy, but there is Shringara, there is wish fulfillment, that is Kamya, that is Kamana fulfillment. Then Upasana and all these things are there. So probably Shankaracharya would have written this probably in his younger days. And probably it is a good attempt to bring some refinement in that particular tradition. So that is how I feel. So with these words, I take leave. Again, thank Brindaji and also Soumya Krishnapurji for having given me this opportunity. And thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Anantananta Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya. Thank you very much. I have really no words to express our sincere gratitude to you, because in such a short span of time, you have lucidly given us the entire framework of Vedanta, if I may say so. So even for a new entrant of Vedanta, your talk has been so enlightening. And you have also given us a bird's eye view of the various aspects of Soundaryalahari, this great text, like you said, though it is so complicated, in these few minutes, you have enlightened us about the Shringara aspect, the literary beauty, the Vedanta aspect of it, and the unity of Shiva and Shakti, consciousness and the manifesting power, Upasana, and Yoga Shastra. So with all these, I'm sure all our participants are really blessed today, because in this course, we focused only on chanting and with very few verses where the meaning was just dealt with in brief. But with your talk, we are all so inspired to study this text more in detail. And also, like you suggested, all of us should study Sanskritam. And that is the foundation for all our texts. So thank you so much for inspiring us to do so. And we really have no words to express our gratitude to you, Mahodaya. Dhanyavadaha.
Thank you.
With this, I invite Kumari Prithvi Shanoy to propose the vote of thanks.
Ram Ram Ram. My pranams to our very distinguished chief guest for the evening, all the elders and my dear friends present here. We are truly blessed and humbled to be a part of this journey. My namaskara rupa dhanyavadaha to our chief guest, Shri Karanam Aravindarao Garu, for the wonderful insights on the greatness, benefits, and moreover the beauty and depth of Soundaryalahari. It was truly a magical experience listening to you, Mahodaya. Ananta Dhanyavadaha again. Vishesha Dhanyavadaha to our dear Dr. Soumya Krishnapur Bhagini for ensuring perfection in the verses displayed on the screen for each class, for guiding us and for always being there to clarify our queries in Sanskritam. Thank you for joining us for this session, Bhagini. My salutations and heartfelt gratitude to our dearest teacher, Srimati Brindakaranam Mahodaya, for inspiring us every day to learn and chant the verses with impeccable pronunciation and special focus on the nuances of Ucharanam. I sincerely pray to God that we have many more such courses in the future as well. I also thank our e-learning administration team, spearheaded by Manishankar Bharadwaj Mahodaya, ELA for this course, Lakshmana, and volunteers and the entire Vyoma team for helping us at every step of this blissful journey. Vishesha Dhanyavadaha to our panelists Shivani, Vihan, and Charu. A million thanks to all the attendees who have made this beautiful journey. Our well-wishers, donors, and friends for their pratyaksha and paroksha presence, prayers, and wishes as always. Dhanyavadaha, Ram Ram Ram.
Thank you, Prithvi. Vishesha Dhanyavadaha to you as well. Prithvi has also been a very enthusiastic panelist in our webinar. So we had 4 panelists, Prithvi, Charu, Vihan, and Shivani, who would practice all the verses beforehand, before each class, and help us with the repetition or anucharanam. And throughout, there has been a lot of appreciation from all our participants for these youngsters. So, and also Prithvi handled the revision sessions when I was unable to take class on a few occasions. Thank you for that, Prithvi. And to all the participants for their continued enthusiastic participation. Like we saw today, some of them did not have any Indian language as their native language. So they put in a lot more efforts and saw to it that their pronunciation is accurate. And some of them joined us from time zones where when it was an unearthly hour for them to attend. But despite that, with their sincerity and dedication, they would attend the live webinar sessions. Also very grateful to Vyoma for this platform, which, if I may call, is a global online satsang for us. And I could not have conducted these sessions but for the relentless support and encouragement of my family, including being with my toddler daughter when I'm in these sessions. So I'm eternally grateful to my family. I now invite Shri Lakshman Raghuram to share a few statistics about the course, following which we will have Shanti Mantraha.
Namassabhabhya Sabhapadibhyascha. Namaste to all the great souls who have been a part of this. It was a wonderful session, and since we were a part of the whole journey of this Soundaryalahari, Satsanga, Jnana Yajna, here are some statistics about the course. We had 41 sessions of learning, and we had an average interaction of about 44.5 hours. The total hours clocked for the whole of teaching is about 44.5 hours. As on date, we have 1,628 learners, and on a daily basis, an average attendance of 193 people were there in the session. Of course, there were a lot of ups and downs in the attendance, but almost about at least 90 to 100 people were attending on a daily basis. Now for the humble seva, these are the 3 places where you can reach out to us or see the sevas which we are doing for Samskrita. One is sanskritfromhome.org, through which you have all come into the session today. Next is vyoma-labs.in, where you will be able to find our introduction about the company and the cause. And the Digital Sanskrit Guru is for the products which we have for Sanskritam. And these are the seva which we have been able to do since 10 years, only because of the support and with the dedication of the people who are working in the background, and also the teachers who have supported us. And of course, the learners who have always been there. You may all see the metrics on your own. What should we do to be a part of Vyoma always? As Mahodaya was telling in his speech, we have to keep learning. There is no end for it. And there are there is a lot more for us to just know about one single grantha. So how much would we have to learn about more granthas? Is that on a daily basis, at least 30 minutes, please dedicate to learning Samskrita, practicing what is taught in class, even at least in either in this course or in another course which you are attending. And please teach at least 3+ students of what you have learned. Only because of that we are able to learn this. With a dedicated student like Brinda Akka, who is also a Guru Bandhu to me. She has taught Samskrita and she has taught shlokas to so many people, only because of which we are able to recite or even know about such slokas now. So it is a request to all of you that you make sure you spread this, and please refer the products and the courses which are there in Vyoma to everyone. Most of the courses are free, all of you know that. And even if there are courses which are paid, they are just minimal. Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha, Lakshmana. Thank you for being a constant support for any technical issues and for setting right everything at the right time, even on weekends, whenever we wanted help. So thank you to you and Bharat ji also. We will conclude today's session with Shanti Mantraha, following which we will have a short session of feedback by students. So whoever wants to share any feedback about the course and you have any suggestions for future courses, so please feel free to share with us. So after Shanti Mantraha, whoever is willing to stay could continue to stay with us, but those who wish to log off also may please do so. So let us chant Shanti Mantraha. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. धन्यवादाः. I once again thank our chief guest, Dr. Karanam Arvindrao Garu and Dr. Soumya Krishnapur Bhagini. So, like I said, you can please continue to be a part of this. Otherwise, we will have some feedback by the students who attended our course. Thank you so much once again. Ananta dhanyavadaha, pranamaha.
Mahodaya, one request. Could you please tell about the assessments, a tentative date when it would be there?
Tentative date would maybe be in a month from now. So this is August, right? So probably end of October, end of September or early October. So I will send an email in detail with reference to the assessments.
I would now request the participants to please raise your hands for testimonials, for giving your feedback on how your journey was in this course. I will be promoting you to panelists and you can speak. I think there are 4 of them. Gopal Krishnan sir. Please accept the invitation for panelists. You may also switch on your videos and speak. Yes, ma'am. You may speak. You're on mute, so could you please? Anne-Marie ma'am, would you like to speak about the course?
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay, sorry. First, I'm not so very good at words. So first of all, I would like to thank Mrs. Brenda Karanam for all the great teaching she has done. I am very grateful for her patience. Her patience is extraordinary. She taught each of us how to pronounce correctly each letter, because in my case, I'm not so attentive when I speak. I speak fast or slow, but while learning Sanskrit from her, chanting, she really opened my attention to each letter. So it was a wonderful, wonderful journey with one of my favorite poems. Now I'm on holidays. Sorry for the noise outside. And for this, I'm also grateful to her. She invited me to recite the 2 shlokas. She pushed me to not be lazy on my holidays. So I again thank her so much for this. And of course, to Vyoma. In Vyoma, I've discovered the best teachers who are taking great pain to teach us how to pronounce correctly. My story is that I used to learn Sanskrit by myself. And when I found the Vyoma courses, the first chanting course was Lalita Sahasranama. And I said, oh, what can I be possibly learn through a chanting course? Anyway, I know how to read. So I don't think I can learn anything. I mean, not so much. So when I switched on to the first class and I heard the teacher, I said, oh my God, I don't know anything, anything. So my first course was Lalita Sahasranama. It was very difficult in the beginning, struggling with all the doubling of the consonants and so on. Then when you advertised for Soundaryalahari, I said, oh my God, this is really God-sent course for me. I'm so happy. So when I heard Mrs. Brenda reciting, I said, oh, it's wonderful, wonderful. So I don't want to say too much. Maybe other people have to talk. So again, thank you to everyone from Vyoma. And thank you to the great speech of the chief guest. And once again, thank you, ma'am, for all your patience, for all your guidance. And I really hope you will have time to teach us more, maybe even Devi Mahatmyam, if you want. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, thank you so much. Truly appreciate your dedication and even the small observations and changes when I suggested, you incorporated them so well. And thank you for joining us despite being on your holiday and chanting today. Thank you so much.
I'm a bit tanned. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything.
No Balkrishnan, sir.
Namaskaram. Ram. Thank you very much for the golden opportunity you have provided us in all the Sundays. It is very difficult. Actually, I joined this course, but I was not a regular attendee. 50% only I could have attended. But the way in which Srimati Brinda Bahini is teaching is very much touching. She gives the importance for the Ucharanam. And she stresses the syllabi where to be that third da, fourth da, or something like that. So it's all teamwork, even though it is a teamwork, but her commitment to this course is commendable, because she prepares the screen, the course materials, and chanting, rehearsing, everything, and also very, very great thing. I thought I may not be in a position to chant the entire verse, but I can follow with the text. So thank you, Yoma, for doing a wonderful service. In fact, I am the student of the Sanskrit Surasaraswitra online course. I have completed 2 courses. So all the whatever the way Yoma is doing is extremely professional and divine also. So thank you very much. We will. I have asked my children also to join these courses and all. So they are busy with all other online courses. They could not join this. But anyhow, these are all continuous courses. And thank you for now. After seeing today's valedictory, it is really I am shameful that of people from abroad, even after that time zone, various time zone, they are attending the class regularly, and their chanting is very much appreciated. So thank you for bringing a global platform for all those who are willing to learn. Thank you, Yoma. Thank you, Brindaji. Dhanyavada.
Dhanyavada, sir.
Namaskara to all. My name is Ratnadhar. I'm from Bengaluru. Both me and my wife, Kir Ratnadhar, students of this Learn to Chant Soundaryalahari from Shankaracharya. We actually joined at the 40th. I think I missed the first 30th verse. But today, since I practice, I know 30 verses better than the rest 40 verses. I'm everyday practicing. Few feedback on the courses. One is that the time, the punctuality of the courses was excellent. And take it from me, it was amazing. I would rather, everybody has praised Brinda Karanam. I know that she has done a wonderful job, but I would also give the due credits to those young panelists who are doing a wonderful job in Anucharana, and they were absolutely amazing. Many times I used to complain about Vihan, who used to take my breath away because he used to chant so fast, but all of them had done a wonderful job. They are equally dedicated as Brinda Karanam. Today, if I can chant some of them to a certain degree of perfection, I had to give the entire Guru Shishya team over there who had done a wonderful job. Okay. Now, second thing is that there's one thing missing, which I have to tell you now. We have completed 100 verses. See, what happens is that if I don't chant it and practice it regularly, over a period of time, entire thing will be evolved from my mind, because this is not the highest thing that I do every day. I request Vyoma and particularly Mrs. Brinda Karanam, my guru, to chant entire 100 verses in one go and upload it as an audio, let us say in Spotify or something, where we can hear it daily and we can actually refine our pronunciation. See, we fall short in our pronunciation. Please, this is my personal request. Please, today I have made a library of all the first 1 to 80 verses. Every day I hear them, then try to learn something. But I want an audio so that I can reduce on my bandwidth. And also, the voice of Brinda Karanam is exactly fit for the learning. If I hear it, that's the beauty of the voice. I'm not exaggerating, but that's the beauty of the voice. So I need that. Please, Vyoma, don't try to stitch all your these classes and try to do a separate recording, because that will be end to end 100 verses in one go. Okay. The third thing is I've given few short suggestions to. Pardon?
We shall definitely do that, sir.
And
we will
I'll be waiting, madam. I'll be really waiting.
Yes. And we will upload the audio. And like you suggested, I think other platforms like Spotify and other platforms also, we will try to upload our recordings from now on, audio recordings. That's a very good suggestion. Dhanyavada. Thank you very much for that.
And I had given a slight variation in the way you teach. So probably you can incorporate that. That will be much helpful. And most importantly, and I'm telling this most importantly, try to have something like a weekly satsang or something, at least for about 15 to 20 weeks, so that We come on the platform, we'll recite, and you can correct us. Because what happens is, yes, you teach, you go, and I'll go back to your this thing. I'll listen to your voice, I'll read, but somewhere I make a mistake. That's taken for granted. So my request is, kindly do some sort of satsang somewhere, or give a platform, let us say 45 minutes every Saturday or Sunday or something like that, so that we'll come and chant, and you tell that, or any of your panelists can come and tell whether we are doing it right or we are doing it wrong, or correct us, so that every opportunity is an opportunity for improvement for me, and also for my wife, or everybody in the panel. So this is my personal request. I know it takes a lot of your time. This is my personal request. And finally, I want one request. Please don't tell those to this. Please start a course on the meaning of Soundaryalahari, because many times we read the English meaning, we read some other meaning from the people who don't know Sanskrit, and there we get a lot of bhavartha differences. Since you know everything and you have practiced it, and today I'm really amazed that you have really done 100 recitation before you took the class. That is amazing, which I cannot do. I have not done till now. Okay, so you know both English, you're perfect in English, you're perfect in Sanskrit, and you also know Soundaryalahari well. You are the best person who can tell us the inner meaning of every word. Probably you can start a course and we'll all join. And once I learn the meaning of the course, then the entire thing takes a different dimension, and we enjoy as we cite, and that's the beauty of the entire course. So please take that as a request from me, and try to give that particular gnana to us. This is my request, madam. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's all I can tell. Beyond that, I don't know what. Thank you.
I think we have Srilata, ma'am.
Namaste, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear?
Yes, please continue.
Okay. Ma'am, thank you for being my guru. I'm speaking a bit in Telugu. Ammavari krupa valla meer maa guruga dorikinattunnaru. So I'm so blessed. Actually, I'm over. So thank you so much. And at the same time, I just wanted to say that you have improved my pronunciation a lot. I never knew that అక్షరం అంత అవసరం మనిషికి అనేది నాకు తెలియలేదు ఇన్ని రోజులు, and you made that clear for me. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Srilata garu.
Are the people who have raised your hands, request you to please accept the panelists.
Ram Bagini, Padma from Chennai. I've been attending your course, Raghavira Gadyam, Venkatesha Supramadam, and this is the one. So I eagerly look forward to your whatever course you are conducting. So please accept my namaskarams as my guru. And also, thanks for uploading all the YouTube videos 10:10. Every day morning, I hear your Soundaryalahari, all the 100 ones, so that I am sure that I will be able to improve my Parayanam. I think it is definitely helping me, and your encouragement whenever I chant, you tell my voice is musical, so I'm just tempted to attend more courses, and I eagerly look forward to all Vyoma thing. And after joining Raghavira Gadyam, I was motivated to join Sanskrit-Pathasala also. I finished my first one and joined the second also. I hope with God's blessings, I will be able to improve my Sanskrit pronunciation also and knowledge. Thank you so much for Vyoma, for all the knowledge I have gained. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Very happy to know that you have started studying Sanskritam. Wonderful. Dhanyavada.
Next, Jayashri, ma'am.
Namaste. First of all, this is the second course, and I've also enrolled for Bhagavad Gita. So for the first one I took up was Lalita Sahasranama. So I am very grateful to Vyoma and to Brunda Bhagini for doing an impeccable job. She doesn't miss a single mispronounced syllable. So it was indeed very good because I had learned 1 to 50 earlier. So 51 onwards, you helped me do it. Dhanyavadaha. And dhanyavada to Vyoma and to the panelists also. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Namaste.
Next, Sundararajan sir.
Ram Ram Ram.
Ram Ram Ram.
Yeah, I've been attending this course, in fact, from Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, I believe. And in fact, I requested that, I was looking for Soundaryalahari, end up in Bhagavad Gita of your course. Since then, I'm a fan of you, and I really loved and enjoyed each and every class that you did since then. I did attend, 13th chapter onwards, Bhagavad Gita and Raghavida Gadyam, and of course, Soundaryalahari. Pretty much I did attend most of the classes, except my 1 month vacation. So you are a wonderful teacher, and there is no comparison, I would say. Your dedication, your patience, your passion, and the perfection. I mean, I can go on, the devotion that you put in, and in all of that, you are a great leader. You are able to manage, so many people, and whenever they, repeat the chanting, each and every syllable, you look at it, and and your musicality, and it's unbelievable. And I would say you are best of best. There is no comparison, I would say. And good. Sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying that you're very generous, and thank you very much for your kind words.
Oh, it's a true statement. I mean, all 1,600 attendees can watch for that. And the panelists and the selection of panelists, that's why I was saying you are a great leader. A selection of panelists also is just amazing. And all our panelists are young kids, and they are just amazing. And you made them as if they are perfectionists, and over a period of time, and just unbelievable. And the way their dedication, their time, and appreciate their parents, of course, and allowing them to being as a panelist, just unbelievable. And also with your family and everything, you are able to dedicate your time, just amazing. So thank you so much. Really appreciate, and I look forward for future courses, of course. And one other request, even I sent a couple of emails. I don't know whether you had a chance to look at it or not. If you are doing any course in the future, I would like to participate as a part of a sponsor, and I would be delighted to do that. If you can send me an email or something, I can go from that point onwards. Thank you so much.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mahodaya. We have a written testimonial which one person has given. Her name is Vishalakshi Kannan. She says that I started attending the class from end of May. I had a lot of difficulty in reciting even half a pada because of allergic asthma. With continuous practice, now I am able to chant reasonably well, and was also appreciated by Guru Bhagini in the last revision session. My sincere thanks to Brunda Bhagini and panelists to Vyoma for the guidance offered. God bless all of you. I'm in US since 3 years. Thank you, Mahodaya. Now I would request Krishna, Chitra Krishna. Please. Chitra Krishna, Chaitra or Chitra Krishna Kumar? Chitra Krishna Kumar. Okay.
Namaste, Bhagini. Thank you so much for teaching Soundaryalahari to me. I feel really blessed to be your student. It's really a blessing. I'm very, very happy. I have no words to say to express my gratitude for all that you have done for me. Maybe I have improved a lot. And thank you so much to the panelists also. small children who have been so dedicated, and to all the people who are working in Vyoma who have enabled this course for all of us. Thank you so much, Bhagini. I am really blessed to have you as my guru. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha, ma'am.
Next, Suvarna ma'am.
Namo Namaha. Down with fever, that's why I could not on video.
Okay.
And as you know, I started my Sanskrit or whatever journey with Bhagavad Gita only. And now I am very thankful. That time I could not pronounce even a one syllable of Sanskrit, and I could not talk Matrubhasha also properly. And we used to get a lot of what you call it, the breath problem. Now reading in long samasta padas, whatever you say. Now I am so improved. I also joined 30-day Sanskrit learning course, and they are all appreciating. It is all because of you. And I'm so much blessed with a guru like you. And I also thank Vyoma Labs for giving me this opportunity. And I also thank all the panelists who participated in this and made us so perfect, becoming perfect in pronunciation. And even some slokas I even nowadays doing Kantasthikaranam also. So I'm very happy, and this may give some what you call guidance to the other participants who can think that we cannot learn, and because of our prana, that breath problem, all those things. So this is helping a lot, continuous chanting. So I recommend everybody to chant, and even my daughter and their friends also watch the videos, and they may join in the future courses. So thank you so much, Bhagini. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Suvarna Bhagini. So Suvarna Bhagini was there with us as a panelist in Gita course and has been there in almost every chanting course since then. Thank you so much.
Next, Vijay Lakshmi ma'am.
Ram Ram Bhagini. Ram Ram. It's a real blessing that we have all the best of the gurus come home and teach us these wonderful divine scriptures. Thanks to Vyoma Labs Ananta Koti Pranamaha, whatever. My Sanskritam may not be truly right, but it's a real blessing to have you come to our place and we sit in our comfort zone and learn in the best way possible. This would not have been possible without the divine grace and all Guru's blessings on us. The best thing of this course has been that any course for that matter with Vyoma Labs is that even if you miss one course due to some unavoidable reasons, that recording is being uploaded in YouTube and you can watch it later and still not miss out on any classes. That's the best part of the plan that you people have done. And to have the kids as panelists is the best motivation ever for us. We will always think, if that child can say, why not? You should. So, and also the memorizing part that you people are recommending, it's definitely keeping our brain active, challenging all the time, keep memorizing. That's also going to help us in the long way and long run to go. So I just cannot thank enough for all these. And as I've always requested many a times through my mails, you have to start Bhagavad Gita once again, and I'm waiting for that to learn from you, because the pace at which you go is something which motivates us to learn. It is definitely encouraging us, and it is giving us the confidence that yes, you can learn. Not going too fast, nor too slow. These are the things that I would like to bring about. And for memorization test, again, as I told you, I requested you not to have all the 100 verses together, which will scare us not to even participate. Maybe if you can split it into 4 or 3 or even 2, we'll at least give a try. Rather than memorizing all hundreds together, if you can just consider this request, it will be really good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bhagini. Dhanyavadaha. Yes, we have definitely considered the Gita, and very soon, with Krishna's blessings, we will announce. So in due course. Dhanyavadaha.
There are two more people. I would request you to please speak or at least accept the panelist. KV Shivasubramanian sir. You can unmute yourself and speak. Ram, sir.
I think he unmuted and went back to mute. Shiva Subramania sir, please unmute. Yes.
Namaste. Okay.
Namaste, sir.
So millions of thanks for a very extraordinary, inspiring instructions and teaching. For my level of Sanskrit, which is no level at all, you are really inspiring because I could have the freedom to listen, and I felt like I got rid of my fearfulness because I don't know Sanskrit. So really, thank you very much. I practice, as you rightly said, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Vairagyena Viyane. Your readings are very much brain in my mind. So thank you very much. Millions of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Pranams to you.
Next, S.R. Valluri.
Namaskaram. I'm sorry, I'm down with COVID, so that's why I'm not coming on the video. Presently, I live in Chennai, but presently I'm in US. I would like to thank Brundaji. Brundaji means teacher. Teacher means Brunda. So she teaches so fantastic, and everybody is so much fascinated in learning. She's motivating people. One thing I would like to tell you is that not only we learn various things, but we are learning so many things from the teacher, Brunda Madam. Humbleness, discipline, and perfection, dedication, and commitment. We're all learning those things also in addition to the text. I had the fortune of learning Bhagavad Gita from her. I finished that. Because of that, I could participate in the recent Sahasragala conducted by Ganpati Satyananda Swamiji in Dallas. So I'm thankful to her. I appreciate her. And I appreciate Vyoma. Vyoma Labs. Vyoma is like an ocean. It's giving so many things to everybody. It is up to me. It's my capabilities, up to my capabilities, up to my interest, my passion to learn. They're doing their duty. I must do my duty, to learn from Vyoma. Thank you, Brundaji. Namaskaram. I appreciate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you so much for joining us despite, recovering, and wish you a very speedy recovery. So take care, and with Bhagwan's and Guru's blessings, wishing you a very good health.
Namaskar.
Namaste.
And you may conclude.
Oh, okay. So as we have already chanted Shanti Mantraha, I think we can conclude here if we've come to an end of the feedback session. And Lakshmana, request you to please record these, chat messages, if you can just save them. Some of them have sent some feedback by chat, and so if you have already saved them, then I can end the webinar session. If you haven't, then we can wait, because after we end the session, they will not be available. So Sarvebhyaha Dhanyavadaha. Ram. Please continue practicing, and I will notify you on email regarding revision sessions and, of course, the assessment. So any other thing you want to share, you can send us an email. Dhanyavadaha. Ram Ram Ram. Lakshmana, I think once you take all the chat messages, like a screenshot, then maybe we can end the webinar for everyone. You're on mute.
There are multiple chats, so I'll have to take multiple screenshots. I think everybody can leave and we can end the webinar soon.
Okay, but if I end the webinar, you will not get the messages.
Yes, I'm taking the screenshot.
Okay, then I think you can end the webinar after you're done. Dhanyavadaha, Lakshmana. Thank you so much for your support. Ram Ram Ram.